Next Friday, how did you get to rolling that, yo?
Next Friday, man. That was my big break. So back then, I had a job working for the airlines. That's the last time I clocked into a job was I worked an airline job from 96 to 2002. In fact, when Next Friday came out, I was still working, and then eventually they fired me. And then I was like, okay, I got to let this job go. I didn't even try to fight for it. But so I worked for the airlines and I was living in Philly. And what I used to do, and on my days off, I would take a flight to LA and try to come and network, And then and back then there were three shows going on. They had a show Sunday night at the Laugh Factory. Monday night was something at the Improv that was hosted by D. Ray Davis. Sunday night was hosted by Chris Spencer, and then Tuesday they had Fat Tuesdays was a comedy night. These are all black comedy night where like black headliners would pop up in these spots on those particular days and perform. But it's still book a show. They'll still book like 3, 4 comics, and then whoever stops saying just that's big enough, they'll let them go on stage. So I remember I booked a date that night on a Tuesday night at the Fat Tuesday at the Comedy Store. So that one was being hosted by Guy Torrey. You know who Guy Torrey is?
Oh yeah. Got Tori and his
Okay.
brother, the other, yeah,
Yeah,
Joe
Joe
Torre.
Torrey, right. Joe Torrey was right. His brother was the one I sent to go take my place. So yeah. So Guy Torrey did Tuesday night, Fat Tuesdays, and I booked that night. I booked this particular night. I happened to book the same night that Ice Cube went out there to see Mike Epps perform for the first time to consider him for next Friday. I just happened to be performing that night. So when I performed, after I was done, I remember, I was hanging out in LA for another day. In fact, I remember being on set of the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith. I was on set just because I was, a lot of time when a lot of Philly people were doing stuff, anybody from Philly would come out and hang out. So we knew Will Smith was shooting a movie and we all went on set to like hang out and watch him film. And I remember I got a beeper, I got a page from Guy Torrey. Hey, Ice Cube then saw you last night and they want you to like audition for a project called Next Friday. I didn't even know it was a sequel to Friday. I had no idea they was doing a sequel. And then where I was actually on set up, whether it was Warner Brothers, Paramount Studio, whatever I was there, I asked the person for their fax number. And I remember the lady faxed me the lines to the movie and say, they want you to go study this line and come out and do an audition for this movie. And then, like I said, I didn't even know it was to next Friday. I just thought it just got a project. It had project and it said next Friday. I didn't know what that meant. I just thought whatever it was. So I remember Guy Torrey called me later and was like, oh, they're doing a sequel to the Friday movie. That's what they were audition for. I said, oh, okay, cool. So I remember they gave me an audition for like a week later. So I remember flying back home to Philly. And whenever you got to do something important in your life that could change your life, there's always going to be obstacles in the way, big obstacles. All right. So because the day I had to come and audition for this movie, the day I had to fly back and audition for the director and the casting agent, I happened to go to court that day. All right. So I happened to go to court that day. Now, why did I have to go to court? That's what I'm about to tell you now. Right. So when I went back home, a few days later, me, Kevin Hart, a guy named Teray Gordon, and another guy named Buck Wild. These are all Philly comics, right? We about to drive to New York to go do a show, right? So we all meet at one point. It's 4 of us. Buck, me, Teray, and Kevin, right? We all meet at this one club. They used to do comedy. We used to do comedy there on Wednesday. We all meet there with our cars. We said, we'll park our car here. We all hop in one car. We all drive to New York and go do the show for another New York comic called Brooklyn Mike. He used to have like this, he used to do this stuff on either Monday or Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night. Tuesday or Wednesday night, whatever. All right. So we all decided to get in the best car. Like we taking a trip to New York, my car, what did I have at that time? I had a 1989 Ford Taurus, right? 1999. Either that or 92 Taurus. I know one time I had an 89 and one time I went and got so I think I had the 90 Taurus. Either between 89 and 93 Ford Taurus was my car, right? So either I didn't want to put miles in my cars. I'm like, I don't want to drive my car. You know, I think cab lady dropped him off at that time. Touré car was like fucked up. Now, the only guy that had a decent car was Buck. All right. Buck was this guy that you can't trust Buck. Nothing the nigga said is true. He lies about everything. Buck is just the most illegal person in Philly, right? He has counterfeit money. He sells fake Rolexes to people. Bucks does everything illegal. There's nothing right about this nigga, right? But he had like a 94 Nissan Maximum, you know, it was nice. So because they had that, okay, I definitely had 89 Ford Taurus. That was all fucked up. And I didn't want to put miles in my car to New York. So Buck had the best car. So what decided to get in Buck's car? But we never thought about like how legal is this guy's car? Is this car registered? Is this car insured? This car got the right license plate? Is this nigga? We never thought about that. We was like, we ain't fucking about a car. Let's get in this nigga's car, right? And then you know a nigga shit's fucked up when he don't even want to drive, right? Meaning like the paperwork is not right. He's like, Mike, I'm tired. You drive. Actually, the red flag was right there. I didn't see the fucking red flag, right? So here's the four stooges getting this nigga's car, right? Driving to New York. I'm driving. All of us, we on the turnpike, 95 turnpike from Philly to New York. It's a straight shot. Right about there, we are around Newark, New Jersey. We 30 minutes away from the city, if that. 25, 30 minutes from New York. It's a state trooper behind us, you know, and I'm nervous. Mind you, I'm a black man driving a car, police behind me. I've never been pulled over before at that time. I'm just scared. I'm fresh out of the village. You know, I've probably been in America for about 10 years, but I'm young. You know, I'm like 21 years old, 22. You know, I'm nervous, you know. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have camera phone back then. You can't film a cop killing a motherfucker, but that shit happens still. You know, and motherfucker will shoot you and get away with it, those cops. So, you know, I'm driving, I see a cop, I'm nervous. I'm like, you know, I'm slowing down. I don't know what to do. And Mike like, Mike, what you doing, man? Just concentrate on the road. Just, you know, next thing you know, the lights is up. Woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, as soon as that light went off, Buck is like he's like, Buck said, hey, Mike, tell him, if they come, tell him my name is Aziz White. I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is Aziz White? Why? No, nigga, you Buck Wild, motherfucker. That's your name. So the reason why they put me, so when the cops get behind you, usually the first thing they're doing is they're reading your license plate, calling it in, find out who is this person driving the car, is this car stolen, what's the situation with the car. So they're not going to turn the lights on until they already have some information on this car. So the information they have on this car is this. So back then in the 90s and early 2000, especially in Philly, whenever you had a lot of parking tickets on your car, you report your license plate stolen and get a new one. Get a new one, and then you got a new fresh start. So what the plate he had on his car was a plate that somebody gave him to put on his car, but that person reported it stolen because they had a lot of tickets. That's the plate he had on his car because his car wasn't registered the right way. So when the cops read that plate, it came up stolen. It came as a stolen property, so they thought the car was stolen as well. Not knowing that it's just a plate that they reported stolen just so you get a new plate so his car don't get booted. So that's exactly what happened. So now we have a plate of a car. He has a plate. Somebody gave the nigga this plate that they reported stolen. And that's the plate we're driving on. So the police, they don't know that. They just know that it's a stolen property. These niggas are stolen cars. Come out the car, they pulled out guns on us. Everybody come out the car. Driver, stand up. Walk backwards with your hands up. I don't know what the fuck to do. I never done this shit before. So I'm like, my dumb ass going forward. They're like, Mike, you gonna get around and get shot. You know, lay down, hands behind your back. One by one, they had us on the ground, right? And they just say like, they're like, you know, it's a buck. Buck's so illegal. Then they got counterfeit money in his pocket. He takes the money, he throws it out, right? I think one of the cops saw the money and picked the money up, like, hey, you drop your money. Get that shit back to the nigga, right? They trying to get rid of evidence, the cops give him the shit back. So we're all in handcuffs, and then they like trying to find out who we are, this and that. You know, me, I'm like, you know, I'm a comedian, Michael Blackson, my headshot's in the trunk. I'm always, you know, being a little bitch, you know, just trying to get myself out of this. Kevin Hart just on the floor laughing because this thing I was just like pretty much just like what's that movie? You ever saw that movie what's that movie called? Man. Was that one movie where them dudes got pulled, black young boys got pulled over by the cop and then one day started crying?
Oh, The Wood?
The Wood. It was just like that. So, you know, and then so Kev just on the floor laughing. He told me I was the nigga that was crying pretty much, right? But I ain't cried not one bit. I was just like, explain who I am. I'm not about to go locked up. I'm not getting locked up for this nigga in his fucked up situation. So I'm like, this car belonged to Buck. He said, Mike, my name is Aziz White, and I can fuck you, nigga. You're Aziz White. You Buck. Buck, this is his car. I'm just driving it. The nigga want to drive, okay? I'm a comedian. I just got from Africa. You know, I'm pleading my case. And Kevin just laughing his ass off on the floor, right? And then to rate, so make a long story short, we all end up in a fucking holding cell. They took the car. Buck got more money in his fake money in his pocket. He's nervous. They're gonna come and search him. So this nigga's in the bathroom in the prison, chewing the money, trying to get rid of evidence. The nigga mouth is green, asking us to chew some money. I'm like, I ain't putting up. I'm not chewing the fucking money, nigga. No, I'm not. So we end up in there for about to like probably 4 a.m, mix the gig, miss our little $200 gig in New York. Right? We end up, you know, after it was done, we hop on the train, went back to Philly, had to explain to Brooklyn Mike what happened to us. He didn't believe us, yada, yada. So then we have a court date. So the date of the court was the day I had to go back to LA to do my audition. So fortunately for us, LA is 3 hours behind. You know, so from my audition was for 5 p.m. LA time. My court was at 9 a.m. New Jersey time. So the only way I could make this motherfucking I would have to catch like a 1 p.m. flight out of Philly that would land, even if it's a 6-hour flight, it was a 5-hour flight. 1 p.m. plus 5, well, it's actually flight left at 1:50. So that's 2 p.m. 2 p.m. plus 5 is 7 p.m. minus 3 hours, that's 4 p.m. I would land in LA and I could still make my audition. If I'm able to go to court, get out of court, and drive that 2 hour back to Philly. So me and Kev was the only niggas that went to court that day. We rented a car, drove from Philly to Jersey, went to court. They threw the shit out. The rest of them niggas didn't show up. Eventually had like warrant for their arrest. And me and Kev went to court and threw it out because I was just, you know, I think the police didn't show up or something, or I would just, it wasn't my car. I was just driving it. We explained our situation and they threw out the case and we drove back. I got to the airport like at 1 p.m. to catch a 1:50 flight, got on a plane, made it to LA for my audition. You know what I mean? So when something is meant to happen, man, it ain't the devil could do. You know what I mean? That next Friday was my big break. Even to today, we talking about like over 20 years ago, that movie still is what motherfuckers mention when they see my face. I can't get jiggy with this shit. Where's your manager, the pink motherfucker? You look like I play hit out some of this shit. Please don't hit me. I'm just a bitch ass nigga.